welcome back, guys. Right, we are back on the Corolla again, yet again. What else should it be? Right, we are going to get into a bit of work, fix some of the tools now, and we're going to get into some more progress. We're going to do some tubes in the back, and I've been fighting with different ideas about what to do here. But what I've decided to do is do a fixed tube. So I did it very much like the Celica, but the Celica I ran it right into here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a tube 90 degree, and it's going to go along here 90 degree and tie in here with this tube, both sides, and then that's going to be just welded to the frame. And then if that ever breaks, I'll have to obviously cut it off and make another one. But it's very rare. I think if I hit that tube, I've done something seriously wrong. So I'm kind of thinking it'll be a permanent thing. Hopefully it will never get touched. And even if the rear quarter does come in and it hits that inner panel, it will just touch the tube and we can sort that out. So that's the plan. We're going to get that done. We've got the old Hillmore bender out and some 22mm tube. This is just some ERW tube that I'm going to use. Mainly use it for bumper bars, like the one up there you can probably see hanging up. E36 one that is. And go from there. Other thing that is, a few parts have arrived. I checked this out a minute ago. So this is S14A. I haven't checked. Now the measurements here should be the same. I haven't checked if it fits yet, because I thought I'd do it for the video, and I'm hoping it does fit, but let's see. Oh yes, Jesus, look how close that is there. Christ. Okay, so S14. So this is something I thought that might fit. I wasn't sure. I did a measurement of another bulkhead up there, and it made sense that it did. But the only reason why I remember this is because when I built my Celica, I didn't have all that. The Celica servo and everything was crap, basically. So I had a lot of S14 stuff around. Now, this isn't easy to find anymore. This is stuff that I've thrown away, which is really annoying because, you know, I spent a bit of money. I actually bought this from Slide Motorsport. So big thanks to Matt for sorting it out for me. I didn't get any discount on it. It was just like, yeah, so thanks for Matt for keeping them in stock. So S14 servo, so that's cool. Right, so I've bent that one up and kind of just sat it in here, kind of working out where it's got to go. So that's going to work out really well. So we're going to bend up another one of them now, exactly the same way. Now there's a little bit of a trick here. I'll show you what I mean. So to save a bit of length of tube, always do this. So obviously leave a little bit of extra there, and then just run your hand like that, like that. Now I've already done this, you can see a marking already. That gives you an idea of how to save a bit of material, and you want to leave a little bit excess on there, just to help you, but just in case it's slightly longer. and go from there. Now, I'm gonna chop that up, and then what we're gonna do with this one is, this is gonna sit on the top flat of the tube. So for instance, if you imagine that's the chassis, this is gonna be sat on the top of there. So I've got to notch it like that basically, and then that's gonna go into there, and then this will sit flush with the boot floor. So another advantage of that is I can make mounts off this tube to bolt through the floor into the tube for the battery tray and anything else I need to do. So that's just the only reason why I'm doing it that way. Like I say, I hope these are like a crumple zone. I hope I never get to use them. And even if they crumple a little bit, I can flex them back out. So let's get the rest of this done. And the other thing I didn't point out is, this is just a seam tube, ERW, I think it's called. I put the seam on the inside of the tube because it's always stronger on the inside of the tube. If you stretch it on the outside of the tube, it will try and stretch the seam and it can split. But if you can do it on the inside, that's it. And the only reason why I don't use CDS is just because the expense. You don't need to. This is like a crash bar. This is like a throwaway bar. And not so much on this car, but it's only like 16 gauge. So that's the only reason why I'm using it. Plus I've got it in stock and I'm being a cheapskate really. But like, let's get cracking on the other side, get two bent up, and then we can start getting welded them in. Right, got both of these made up now. And you can see the way I've notched this, so it's gonna sit on top, flush with the top. So in theory, if I can clamp it, got my marking where I wanted it, and that's where it's gonna be. And then I'll clamp it into there. And then we can tack weld that on and get both sides in. And that's the job's a good one. They're not symmetrical both sides. This is actually slightly deeper because the pocket's slightly narrower to the rear quarter. But that doesn't matter. We can leave that as it is. That's just the way it is. You ain't gonna see it underneath. You'll only see it underneath. That's the only difference you'll see. From the top, the bead rolls are gonna be mirror image. So that's fine. So we'll get that tacked in, make sure it's dead level across all the way across this tube. And then once we start making the inner floor sections, which will go around here and tie all this together and give some extra strength for us, then we can really start paneling off the back and planning out the fuel tank and going from there. The one thing I was going to do, which I was going to make a fuel tank, and then I got the fuel tank I ordered like a kit that came cheaper in the long run to order it with a tank. And I was gonna put that in, but the way it mounts is not how I wanna mount it. So I'm gonna fabricate a fuel tank, so that'll be in another episode. And I can show you the process of how to do that. I've only made one or two before, so I think I've made two. And I've not had any bad comebacks with any of it, so hopefully this one will be just the same. So let's get these tubes welded in. I'm going to be fully TIG welded in, so be nice and strong, and then we can kind of plan out where the battery is going to be on the other side, and make some mounts off this tube to mount the battery tray. And then another thing I might do here is actually bring in a tube down at an angle from here, or even in the corner of this one and there, to come down to tie in the back of the arches, just so it stops any flex in the shell there. And I am going to put a panel in here to stop stones and stuff flying up, so there is going to be like a gusseted panel here as well. But I just think that would really benefit us and keep the shell a little bit square. And it will just be bolted on, it won't be welded to the shell here. And it's like this will probably be some tabs on the other side of the tube bolting through into this. So just to give it some extra strength. I mean, once this panel's in and welded into the rear panel, nothing's probably going to move. So anyway, let's get cracking. that's all them welded in now. As you can see, come out quite nice. Nice and strong, tied it all in. So the next job is going to be putting a bar down there into the wheel wells both sides, and then we'll start mounting the battery tray here. It's obviously night time now, so I will do that tomorrow, and we'll get some tubing and hopefully get the battery tray, which is battery trays here ready to go. This is one from Car Builders, I think, and it's for an Ultima battery. So yeah, we're going to use that, and hopefully that'll work out really well. And then we'll go on to anti-roll bar maybe, and I've also got to do some brackets down from the chassis, if you remember, to the 4-link brackets here. So there are going to be 2 tie downs there to hold the axle up when we jack it from the back. I ain't going to do a jacking bar yet. I'm going to start designing the fuel tank first, and then we'll do a jacking bar after. So right, let's get into the next job. This is the panel. I was going to do a few other jobs, but I'm going to attack this panel first. This is a panel that's kind of been on my mind about how it's going to work. Now, you might have seen I did a quick template before, which ran like that, basically in there, give us a bit of an idea. And then I ran that onto another piece of template to get the angles right. Obviously, I've still got a little bit of adding here and there. So this is where it's going to get difficult. But first of all, we're going to put a lip on the inner sill here. So I've got an edge to weld to down this edge here. And we're also going to put a lip, like so we're going to have, well, I've even measured it there, 15mm extra. And there's going to be a panel that comes up here and goes down there. That's going to be plug welded through there. And there's going to be a panel excess through there that's going to go that way. So we're going to do a fold up and a fold down. And then this one round here, this will just be fully welded round like this, basically. That's going to be welded around there. We're going to TIG into there, and then TIG down here in like stages, and then go from there. Right, so we've done we put the template on there, and we cut that out of a bit of sheet, just quickly rough. So I'm going to chop that out completely nice and clean now. We're going to transfer the markings over onto this, and then, which I'll show you how we'll do it, and I'm going to do it with a craft knife. I'm just going to go through in places. So I'll probably go into this corner, into that corner, and then we'll do a little bit of the radius here, this corner, and also cut into this corner and these. And then we can get a perfect reference point when it's scratched onto the steel, exactly where the bead roll is going to be. So we're going to do that, and then once we've got that worked out, then we've got to put this fold in. And also, if you look, I've left material on here and here. I haven't done a straight line across there yet. So that fold's going to be going down, and this one's going to be coming up. So I'll show you how I process doing that. And but once the first job we got to do is cut it out nicely, make sure the bead roll is as closest to the template as possible, and then try it in. Now, do not be surprised if this doesn't completely work out, this panel. If this panel doesn't work, we'll start again, and we can flatten this back out and use this as a template. This is basically the proof of all point. You can use as much cardboard as you want, but it's not going to give you a steel effect. Now, I have got a lot of 1mm aluminium, but I'm actually using that for a job. So I could have cut it out of aluminium, bent it all up, tried it, put the bead roll in, double checked it. But we're going to do it out of steel because I've got a lot more steel and it's cheaper. So that's the main reason. So fingers crossed it comes out first time, but you never know. So let's see how we get on. So you can see, hopefully you can see, there's the markings now left through the cardboard. So now we're going to basically put the ruler on top of that. We'll mark it all out. And that should be pretty much, the ruler's 30mm, so there'll be 30mm either side in theory. See, 30mm, 30mm. So next little job is a small bit of tube. It's just what I got to hand, and then we just do the radiuses on the corner. Right, now that's all marked out. So the next job to do, we're gonna clean up these edges, just because when you put it in the bead roller, you don't want like a jagged edge. It might catch when you're trying to swing the panel around. So we're gonna clean up the edges, make it nice around the edges. We're gonna bead roll the pattern in, and then we're gonna do the fold and pray everything works. And then we've got to do the tipped edges. So this one's gonna be tipped up like that way. And that one's going to be tipped down, so we'll have to mark the other side of that one so we know it's going to go down. So let's get cracking on that. somewhere near now, and we tidied up a few little things, and obviously we got them. Now, this has got to go, it's got to go that way, right? So this material is too short at the moment, so we've got to stretch this material to allow it to go that way. So it's probably only a little bit here. This bit probably won't want doing, it's probably just a little bit here. So we'll give it a bit and see what it does. Let's move moving already, so that's good. So just got to try and work it out to see what it wants and what it likes, what it wants to do. Obviously that's got to bend down. So it might be a bit of a trial, take it, keep putting it in here, trying it in, and going from there. Right. Back at the car. And this is where it's going to get tricky, because we're going to have to try and clamp it to here, I think. Just give it some force. It's actually not far off, is it, really? You're looking at it, this isn't actually that far off once that's pressed down. So what I'll do is I'm going to clamp this here and then go from there. Now, I've got to be careful here because it's come away from here a little bit. Right, okay, so that's holding that in there. And that's going to be okay down there. Got a bit of a gap around the tube down there, but that's not too bad. Right. You can see this is where it's going to get difficult. This, just working out this corner and where it wants to go. Obviously, we don't want to cut too much out. So we might have to take some more material off here, yeah. And we definitely got to take some more off this top. But that's fine. We've got too much there on purpose. So let's take a bit more out. Let's see how we get on. Right, we're getting closer at the top now. We've still got too much, which is fine, so we can keep taking it bit by bit. There's a bit too much material here as well, possibly. But we're definitely taking shape, and this is even taking shape. I would say this still needs a bit of a stretch to allow that to go that way. So we're going to put this back in the stretcher now. We'll stretch this up. This is actually perfect up here now, and even the bead rolls are kind of matching, so that's nice. We've got a bit of flattening to do down here, which is fine. I think the only mistake I can see so far is there's a little bit too much material around here missing. But we're getting there. So I'm going to put some more stretch into this and then we'll come back to it. Right, we are pretty close now, to be honest. Now the only thing I'm annoyed about is I haven't got that bead roll from here lined up with there. So I'm going to try and roll this back out and put it a bit further up. If it works, it works. If it don't, it don't. The other thing is, this is bit too material here, but I think that was going to be the case anyway. So what I'm going to do is actually put this in the shrinker and see if I can curve it into there, and then that will look really smart. Otherwise, it looks really good. It's a bit annoying. I made a few little mistakes, but we'll see. I might be able to save it. If not, I'll just start again. I've got a good template. It's definitely close. It's definitely looking good around here, which is what I was concentrating on. So I'm well chuffed with that, and it gives you loads of room underneath to work. So yeah, that's going to look really trick. And then you can kind of see what I'm going to do. I might trim a bit more off here, so it's not directly on top of the tube, it's slightly on the inside. And then we'll put the next plate in and leave like 5 mil in between them, and then that will come down here. So there'll be one that goes in the cross, and then there'll be one in there and one in there, and then so it'll kind of show off the work without actually having the tube on show. Right, well, we've done a bit of shrinking on there, and that panel's come in now. I am going to take a bit of advice back, just because I've learnt the hard way. Do not go through the cardboard with a Stanley knife, because it actually scratches the metal quite badly. So try not to do that. That's just something I did to try, but it obviously didn't work. So I take my advice back. So if you're watching the rest of it, make sure you don't do that. Managed to get the bead roll higher, which is cool. So that lines up now with that one, as you can see. And it gives us a better reference point for this panel here. So, yeah, I'm really chuffed with how that's fitting. It's come out really nice. We're gonna have to do a bit of trimming up here to get that line dead straight. But yeah, other than that, it's bang on. I'm really chuffed with it. Right, I ain't gonna bore you too much. I'm gonna make this side now. I'm gonna make this other panel. I won't bore you too much with it. I'll probably show you the bead rolling, some of the folding, and a few little bits just to, if it helps anybody. Obviously, you've seen the rest of it from the other side. Like before, here's what it looks like after. So there you have it. Managed to get it in. Nice fitting gaps. A few little adjustments here and there once it gets welded. But yeah, super chuffed with that. It's going to look really smart when it's all TIG welded in. We're going to start doing the top of the bulkhead. I think we're going to start getting this sorted, so doing panels in between here. I'm going to cut this basically so there's only about 15 mil left on here because I don't need this excess material, and then we'll make a piece of steel. So I think I'm going to do it in 3 different pieces. So I'm going to do the one in the middle, which will get the pattern. We'll get the pattern from everything in the middle with a bit of this, which will be a little bit of a pattern there, and the middle bit and the end bit, and then we'll work out this section here. Panel kind of worked out. I actually forgot to film it because the battery was flat on my phone. So we've got that all worked out and it's all trimmed up and ready to go in. But I think the first things first is I'm going to make this piece first. I'm going to make a bit that curves around the edge of this strut top, and with a flat edge here and a flat edge there. And then I know where to cut this then, because I think it's going to have like a cut radius. And this is going to be the same in this panel. I think we'll do that first, and then we can get this trimmed exactly right, and then we can start these end pieces. So I'm going to get this bit made, and probably weld it in and weld it into here as well. So that's tied into there then, and then we can partly put them bit and that bit in. That's the plan. Whether it works or not, I don't know.
Surprise, motherfucker.
But I'm happy with how that looks. And it's definitely taking the right shape now. So let's get cracking and we'll make these bits going over the strut top. Right, so here's one I made earlier. So I'm going to show you the process of how I made this. I basically bent it around a piece of 3-inch tube and then run it through the chipping die on that roller there on the end of the table, and then got this shape. Now it's not completely bang on yet, because what I'm going to do is this is probably going to be MIG welded in anyway, and then I'll squeeze it together. I'm probably gonna tack it or weld it on the back, so there's no weld around here. I'd like to leave this clean, or if I come into it with a TIG weld, but get a weld around the back and then squeeze this together and try and get a weld in these corners to get that dead square. And then you can kind of see then that it will be dead flush right across there. So let's get making another one of these. I've checked it on the other side and it fits. So let's get making one of these. Right, so we got that shaped up and it's come out quite well, so you can sort of see how I made that. Got to put a little bit of curvature in it when it's fitted. And what I'm going to do is it's going to be in there like that, and I'm actually going to cut this part of the firewall out so this sits flush with this. Right, so we've got this all cleaned up and done to the right action, I think. So let's see if this all fits in. Should do. Oh yeah, look at that. Yeah, that's nice. It's just kicking up a little bit here, but I think once it's welded up around the top, we can dress that down. Let's have a look around the other side. Yeah, we're good. Yeah, it's a little bit, there's got a little bit of height in there, so we're gonna take a little bit out of here to get it a little bit further down, and then we should be good. We should be cooking on gas then. So yeah, let's get that tacked in, and that can kind of stay there. And also the shelf does kind of come down a bit because it is been stretched up. So we'll pull that down and we'll get that tacked in and welded. So that'll be really cool. That's one good progression, and then we can do these corner bits and get them right. Right, I've made a bit of a template of this corner and what I'm going to do, but I'm on the fence about the bead roll at the moment because of this gap and because of that tube. I had to do that gap because it will look right. That one panel would look right like that. So I think I was going to just do it so it was narrow, and I'm also going to try and carry it into this so it looks like this flows up into it. Which I'm still going to do that because I never finished this here. I finished it right through. So I think I'm going to bring it up here and carry on as normal, and it will kind of look better and make sense in my eyes. That's the only kind of design for with doing stuff like this is trying to keep ahead and trying to get the right design and just get the right look. I think that the way I'm going to do that, I think it will look good, especially like looking from this angle. So I'm just being probably a bit too finicky. So let's get this panel made up and get them welded in, and then see how we get on from there. glicoed in, and that pattern all follows quite nice. I'm glad I went a bit further in because it would have looked odd. It sounds weird, but when you look from the front, I'll show you in a minute, it looks actually pretty good with the tube. The tube kind of hides it. And yeah, so I've got this one done as well, and that's all glicoed in and ready to go. So yeah, I'm quite chuffed with that. It looks pretty smart. Tidies it right up. You can see from here, like the tube's kind of hiding the basically there's a bead roll kind of missing there. So yeah, and it will make sense when I start doing this panel. So yeah, but I hope you've enjoyed this episode. Thanks for watching. I hope you've learned something. There's a few guys that have been messaging me saying they've learned a lot, which is great. I'm hoping that people can kind of get some more tips and tricks and do it on their own car and their own project. We've also got some new merchandise coming out. I'll drop a picture in now, and that's going to be coming out soon. If you're interested in that, please drop a comment below. We'll work out what orders were to get in. And thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. We appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one.